Imagine a world where the greatest power in the universe does not reside in external forces but within you, waiting to be awakened. This is no fairy tale, nor a mere dream. It is a vibrant reality, a universal truth that has been carefully preserved in the writings of great masters and now reveals itself to you. In A Great Power, William Walker Atkinson, one of the most profound thinkers of the New Thought movement, guides you through the mysteries of the mind, spirit, and universal energy. With words filled with wisdom and magnetism, this text will take you on a fascinating journey where you'll discover how to unlock your true essence and master the forces that shape your destiny. Get ready to open the doors of your mind and dive into an ocean of knowledge that will empower you like never before. This is your moment to claim your greatness, to activate that great power that has always been within you. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and allow the magic of this text to ignite a spark within you that will transform your life forever. We all know that concentration is key to achieving our goals. Learning to concentrate is of great value, since the success of any project depends on our ability to focus all our thoughts on what we are doing. Don't be discouraged if it is hard at first to keep your attention on a topic. Few can do it easily. Interestingly, it seems easier to concentrate on what harms us than on what benefits us. However, this tendency can be overcome with the conscious practice of concentration. If you dedicate time every day to concentration exercises, you will soon develop this essential skill. Success is guaranteed when you manage to concentrate, as it allows you to utilize all your constructive thoughts and exclude the destructive ones. Thinking only of what is beneficial is extremely valuable. Have you ever reflected on the important role that your concentrated thoughts play in your life? This work outlines their far-reaching effects. The lessons here are practical, and the thoroughly tested exercises are designed for you to see improvements from the start, which will motivate you. They point out ways in which you can help yourself. Human beings are marvelous, but they need to be trained and developed to be useful. Anyone can do great work if they awaken to do the best they can. However, even the greatest would not achieve much without concentration and effort. Those who seem less capable often accomplish what the more gifted cannot, transformed by the almost magical power of great mental concentration. On the other hand, the most gifted will only achieve success if they possess this power. We achieve more through concentration than through physical condition. It is not always the fittest who performs a role best, but rather the one who concentrates on all their possibilities, turning both their work and life into an art. All your real progress comes from your individual effort. This work is provided so you can listen and learn, focusing on continuous improvement and the practical application of concentration in your daily life. This course of lessons is designed to stimulate and inspire you toward success, guiding you toward perfect harmony with the laws of success. It will provide you with a deeper understanding of your duties and responsibilities. The methods for concentrating thought presented in this work, when applied, will open internal paths that will connect you with the eternal laws of being and their inexhaustible source of unchangeable wisdom. Since each person is unique, it is impossible to offer instructions that are equally valuable to everyone. Therefore, these lessons aim to awaken what might not be directly expressed in the content, but resides within your soul. Study these lessons as a means to awaken and train what lies within you. Make sure that all your actions and thoughts are imbued with the intensity and power of concentration to get the most benefit from these lessons. It is advisable to listen to one chapter for a few minutes, then pause the video and carefully recall its ideas. By doing this, you will develop a concentrated mental habit that will allow you to remember more content and more quickly everything you hear. Concentration finds the way by breaking ingrained habits and creating new opportunities. Every person has two natures. One drives us forward, and the other incites us to retreat. The one we decide to cultivate and focus our efforts on will determine our final being. Both natures fight to gain control, but it is our will that decides the result. Through a supreme effort of will, a person can completely change their trajectory and achieve what might almost seem like a miracle. You can be that person if you decide to, because willpower always finds a way. I could recount an extensive collection of cases where individuals, practically advancing, suddenly awakened and, as if emerging from a dream, developed the latent possibilities within them, transforming into completely different people. Only you can decide when that crucial turning point will come. It is a choice, to allow our higher nature to guide us or be dominated by our more primitive impulses. No one is obligated to do something they do not wish to do. Thus, each person has the power to direct their own life if they choose to. Our actions are the result of our training. We are malleable and can be completely directed by our willpower. Habit is a matter of acquisition. We often hear people say, "It's natural for him or her. It's a reflection of their parents," implying that they are merely repeating what their parents did. Although this is common, there is no reason for it to be an unbreakable norm, as a person can break a habit the moment they firmly decide to do so. Someone may have been considered ineffective all their life, but from this moment, they can begin to be valuable. Even older people have suddenly changed and achieved great things. "I missed my chance," someone laments. That may be true, but through solid willpower, we can create new opportunities for ourselves. It is not true that opportunity only knocks once in a lifetime. In fact, opportunity does not come to us, we must seek it. What one person finds to be an opportunity is often what another has passed up. In these times, people compare the mental ability of one person to another, often determining the outcome by the speed of mental response. One person thinks, "I will do it," but while they delay, another advances and completes the task. Both had the same opportunity. The one who did not take it will lament their missed chance. However, this should serve as a lesson, and it will if you are in search of the path to success. Many people read excellent works but claim that they don't get much out of them. They fail to realize that the most a book or a course of lessons can do is awaken possibilities and motivate them to use their willpower. One can teach someone indefinitely, but that person will only know what they learn for themselves. It's like the saying, "You can lead someone to the water, but you can't make them drink." One of the most beneficial practices I know is seeking the positive in all people and all situations, as there is always something good in them. By recognizing the positive qualities in someone, we not only encourage them but also benefit ourselves. By seeking them, we gain their goodwill, which can sometimes be a very valuable asset. We receive what we give. There comes a time when most of us need encouragement. We need to be uplifted. Therefore, it is beneficial to form the habit of encouraging others, and this will prove to be a wonderful tonic for both those who receive encouragement and for yourself, as it will lead you to have encouraging and constructive thoughts. Life offers us opportunities to improve, but whether we take them or not depends on how close we are to achieving what is expected of us. At the beginning of each month, it is beneficial for a person to take a moment to evaluate their progress. If they haven't met expectations, they must identify the cause and, through extra effort, strive to meet the requirements next time. Each time we fall behind in our plans, we lose irreplaceable time. We can find excuses, but most of them are poor substitutes for action. Most goals are achievable. Our task may be difficult, but the greater the difficulty, the greater the reward. It is precisely the difficult challenges that truly develop us. What requires little effort uses few of our capabilities and yields few results. Therefore, we should not be discouraged by a difficult task, as achieving just one of these often brings us more benefits than a dozen smaller triumphs. I firmly believe that anyone willing to make an effort can achieve success. The cost is not monetary, but effort. The first essential quality for success is the desire to achieve something. The next is learning how to do it, and then putting it into practice. The person most capable of achieving anything is one with an open mind. Someone who has acquired knowledge that, although it may seem unrelated to a particular case, is valuable in many contexts. Therefore, someone aspiring to success must be broad-minded. They must acquire as much knowledge as they can and be well-versed, not only in one aspect of their field, but in all its aspects. Such a person will surely reach success. The secret of success lies in constantly striving to improve, no matter where you are or what your position is. It is crucial to learn all you can, rather than focusing on how little you can do. Focus on how much you are capable of doing. Whoever adopts this attitude will always be valued, as a reputation for being enterprising and efficient is forged. Progressive companies always seek to retain this type of person, as they are a valuable asset. The person who reaches the highest levels is the one who is courageous, diligent, and hardworking, not the one who is shy, indecisive, or slow. Rarely does a passive person attain positions of responsibility and power. Those selected for these roles are the ones who have achieved results, shown initiative, and demonstrated their ability to inject energy and vigor into their efforts. The individual who stands out in crucial moments is rarely a genius or more talented than others, but they have understood that results are only achieved through concentrated and persistent effort. They know that miracles in the professional world do not happen by chance, but are the result of sticking to a plan and carrying it out. That is the difference between those who succeed and those who fail. The successful person becomes accustomed to seeing things done and always trusts in their success. On the contrary, the person who fails becomes accustomed to expecting failure and ends up attracting it. In my opinion, with the right training, anyone could achieve success. It is truly unfortunate that so many men and women endowed with abilities and talents are relegated to waste. I hope that one day a philanthropist with resources will start an institution to train those considered failures. I am convinced that it would be an exceptional use of their resources. In 1 year, the science of practical psychology could work wonders with these people. They could seek those who have lost control over themselves, those who, due to illness or misfortune, have weakened their will, those who have been discouraged by pain or adversity. Often the only thing they need at first is a little help to rise again, but usually what they find is the opposite. As a result, their latent potential is never developed, and both they and the world are harmed. I trust that soon someone will seize the opportunity to use part of their fortune to revitalize those who have begun to falter. They just need to understand that within them lies a source of omnipotent power, ready to assist them whenever they decide to use it. It is enough to change their minds from despair to hope for them to regain their momentum. When a person loses control today, they must earn their redemption by their own will. They rarely receive encouragement or inspiring advice. Generally, they must find the right path for themselves. They must stop wasting their energy and focus on building a useful career. Today, we must overcome our weakening tendencies on our own. Do not expect others to help you. Only a great effort is needed to make firm decisions and decide to overcome weaknesses and vices. In reality, no one else can do this for you. They may encourage you, but that is all. I see no other obstacle, aside from a lack of health, that cannot be overcome on the path to success. Any disadvantage can be overcome with more determination and willpower. The person with determination and willpower can be poor today and rich in a few years. Willpower is a more valuable asset than money, and it will carry you over the chasms of failure if you give it the opportunity. People who have reached the highest positions have generally had to conquer their successes against great adversity. Consider the difficulties that many inventors faced before achieving success. They were often misunderstood by family and friends, and often lacked the essentials for living, but thanks to their determination and courage, they somehow survived until they perfected their inventions, which later contributed significantly to improving the condition of others. Many desire to do something important, but few are willing to make the effort and sacrifice necessary to achieve it. The only way to get something done is to move forward and do it. Today, almost anything is achievable if you put your heart into it and don't allow anything to obstruct your progress. Obstacles are quickly overcome by those who are determined to fulfill the desire of their heart. The bigger the person, the smaller the obstacle seems, and the more limited the person appears, the bigger the obstacle seems. Always focus on the advantage you gain by overcoming obstacles, and this will give you the courage necessary to conquer them. Don't expect your path to always be easy. You are likely to encounter difficult stretches along your journey. Don't let these difficulties stop you. Continue on your way. The way you face and overcome challenges shows what you are made of. Instead of sitting and lamenting over hard times, appreciate the pleasant stages you have lived through and look forward with enthusiasm to the clear plains ahead. Don't let a setback paralyze you. Consider every obstacle as a simple incident that you must overcome to reach your goal. Resilience in the face of challenges is what will ultimately lead you to success and allow you to achieve your objectives. Maintain a positive and proactive attitude, and each step, even the difficult ones, will bring you closer to where you want to go. Self-mastery, the power of self-direction and concentration. From a psychological standpoint, humans have not yet reached their optimal potential. They lack the self-mastery and self-directed concentration they are entitled to. These skills have not been developed in a way that fosters self-control. Every balanced mind possesses faculties whose primary functions are to design, direct, and concentrate both mental and physical operations. It is essential to learn to control not only the mind, but also the bodily movements. When the faculties of self-regulation are not trained, impulses, emotions, thoughts, actions, and habits lack proper regulation, and mental concentration is affected, not necessarily due to weakness in these faculties, but because of a lack of proper training. Without the development of self-regulation faculties, impulses, appetites, emotions, and passions act without restriction, leading to an impulsive, restless, emotional, and irregular mind. This is why mental concentration can be deficient. The key to improving concentration and self-mastery lies in training and developing these self-regulation faculties. When the self-guided faculties are weakly developed, the person lacks the power of mental concentration. Therefore, concentration cannot be learned until these faculties are developed. If you find it difficult to concentrate, one of the following reasons might be the cause. A deficiency in motor centers, which implies insufficient brain development and a lack of willpower. An impulsive and emotional mind, characterized by an inability to control anger, passion, hatred, strong impulses, and intense emotions. It is impossible to concentrate in agitated emotional states. An untrained mind, which can be corrected with systematic practice and is the easiest to address. To correct an impulsive and emotional mental state, it is beneficial to restrict intense emotional states and avoid foods and drinks that negatively affect the nervous system or stir passions. Associating with stable and controlled people can also be helpful. Treating the deficiency of motor centers is more complex, as it involves brain development and willpower, a process that takes time and can benefit from reading and studying educational materials that offer guidance and support in this development. Many people mistakenly believe that when they are in a negative state, they are concentrating, but this is not correct. They may be meditating, but not necessarily concentrating. Those who spend much of their time in a negative state generally cannot concentrate effectively. Instead, they tend to develop mental abstraction or a lack of mind. Their ability to concentrate weakens, making it difficult for them to focus on anything. Maintaining this state can even damage the brain. To concentrate, you must possess mental strength. People with weak minds struggle to concentrate because of a lack of willpower. A mind that cannot focus on a specific subject or thought is weak. Equally weak is the mind that cannot divert from a subject or thought. However, someone who can center their mind on any problem, regardless of what it is, and disregard any disharmonious impression, demonstrates mental strength. Concentration from beginning to end is synonymous with mental strength. Through concentration, a person is able to gather and maintain their mental and physical energies in their work. A concentrated mind pays attention to thoughts, words, actions, and plans. The person who allows their mind to wander at will rarely achieve much in the world. They waste their energies. If you work, think, speak, and act without a defined purpose, allowing your mind to drift toward irrelevant thoughts, you won't be able to concentrate. You concentrate the moment you firmly decide, I want, I can, I will. It is a mistake to waste time reading sensational stories or worthless newspaper articles, as this excites the impulsive and emotional faculties, weakening your ability to concentrate. You will not be a free individual capable of guiding yourself to success. Mental concentration can only be developed through careful self-observation. All development begins with detailed attention. It is essential to regulate all your thoughts and feelings. By beginning to observe yourself, your actions, and those of others, you activate and employ your autonomous faculties. By continuing this practice, you will improve your faculties until you can eventually direct all your thoughts, desires, and plans. Being able to consciously focus the mind on the object in question is key to concentration. Only a trained mind can focus effectively and maintain a thought until all faculties have fully considered it. The person who cannot direct their thoughts, desires, plans, resolutions, and studies cannot achieve the highest success. The person who is impulsive one moment and calm the next lacks proper self-control. They do not own their mind, thoughts, feelings, and desires, and this lack of self-control prevents them from achieving success. Irritability not only affects the individual, but also negatively impacts others. ruining the chances of collective success. On the other hand, the person who can direct their energies and maintain them focused on their work controls every one of their actions, and therefore requires the ability to influence others. They can make each of their movements contribute to a useful end, and each thought pursue a noble purpose. Today, the person who becomes easily excited and irritated is considered undesirable. A well-educated person speaks slowly and deliberately, cultivating an attitude of calmness, paying conscious attention, and focusing on one thing at a time, excluding everything else. When you speak with someone, give them your full and exclusive attention. Do not allow your attention to wander or become distracted. Make your will and intellect work together. Start in the morning, and try to be as self-sufficient as possible throughout the day. Occasionally take stock of your daily actions and evaluate whether you have maintained your determination. If not, strive to do better the next day. The more self-control you exert, the better your concentration will be. Never be in too much of a hurry. Remember that as you improve your concentration, your chances of success increase. Concentration leads to success, as it makes you more capable of controlling yourself and centralizing your mind. This makes you more effective in your actions, which almost always improves your opportunities for success. When you talk to someone, keep your own plans in mind and focus your energy on the purpose of the conversation. Observe each of their movements, but without losing sight of your own goals. If you don't do this, you'll waste your energy and won't achieve all you could. Observe the next person you meet who has a reputation for being a strong individual. Notice the perfect control they have over their body, and then compare this to an average person. Pay attention to how they move their eyes, arms, and fingers. Observe the unnecessary waste of energy. All of these movements scatter vital energy and reduce a person's power in vital and nervous aspects. It is as important to conserve your nervous energy as it is your vital energy. Think of a train moving smoothly along the tracks. If someone opens all the valves, the train stops. The same happens to you. If you want to use all your energy, you must close the valves and direct your mental power toward a single purpose. Focus your mind on a goal, a plan, or a task. Nothing consumes nervous strength as quickly as emotion. For this reason, an irritable person is never magnetic, not admired or loved, and does not develop their qualities to the fullest. Anger, sarcasm, and emotion weaken a person in this sense. Those who allow themselves to become overly emotional become nervous over time, consuming their nervous and vital energy. Someone who cannot control themselves and avoid excessive emotion cannot concentrate. When the mind can concentrate properly, the energy of every microscopic cell focuses on a single channel, generating a powerful personal influence. Every person possesses millions of tiny vibrating cells, each with a center where life and energy are stored and generated. If this energy is not wasted but conserved and controlled, the person becomes influential. On the contrary, if it is wasted, the person will not be influential or successful. Just as it is impossible for a steam engine to function with all its valves open, it is equally impossible to spend your energy indiscriminately and still function at peak performance. Every neuron in the gray layers of the brain is a center of psychic thought and action, each emitting an intelligent force of some kind. When this force, your thoughts and movements, is restricted and guided by a systematic, conservative, and focused mind, the result is magnetism, vitality, and health. The muscles, bones, ligaments, feet, hands, and nerves act as agents to carry out the mandates of the mind. The main function of the will faculties is to move the physical mechanism as energy travels through the nerves and muscles. Therefore, by exerting voluntary control over these messages, impulses, thoughts, emotions, physical movements, and over the very physical instruments themselves, you develop your self-control faculties. To the extent that you succeed in this, you will similarly develop the power of concentration. Any exercise or work that excites the mind, stimulates the senses, activates emotions and appetites, or causes confusion, fear, or excitement, weakens the ability to concentrate. For this reason, all types of emotion are considered harmful. This is why people who consume alcoholic beverages, who are carried away by fits of anger, who engage in conflicts and thus develop their emotions, which are impulsive, vehement, and emotional, lack the power to concentrate effectively. On the other hand, those who act with more calmness and whose actions are guided by their intelligence develop better concentration. Sometimes dogmatic, stubborn, and excitable people can concentrate, but their concentration tends to be spasmodic and erratic, rather than controlled and steady. Their energy varies. Sometimes it's abundant, other times scarce. It becomes excited and wasted easily. It's comparable to the accidental discharge of a weapon. If fired prematurely, not only is the ammunition wasted, but it can also be dangerous. This is what many people do when they allow their energy to dissipate uncontrollably, wasting it and putting others at risk. This damages their chances of success and their personal magnetism. Such individuals are rarely highly regarded and will not be until they manage to control themselves. It will be necessary to practice a variety of concentration exercises and maintain them for some time. You must overcome your sudden and erratic thoughts and regulate your emotions and movements. You must train yourself from morning to night to stabilize the mind, direct, and maintain your energies focused on your work. The lower part of the brain functions as an energy storehouse. Most people have all the dynamic energy they need as long as they know how to concentrate it. They have the machinery, but they also need the engineer, which is the power of self-regulation and direction. Those who do not develop their engineering skills will not achieve much in life. A good engineer controls every one of their acts, and all their work contributes to their development. Whatever you do will lead to progress or degeneration. It is always helpful to keep this in mind. When in doubt about whether to do something or not, ask yourself if it will make you grow or deteriorate, and act accordingly. I firmly believe in the idea of working when you work and playing when you play. When you immerse yourself in pleasure, you can develop concentration by focusing exclusively on the pleasure. When your mind concentrates on love, think only about it, and you will find that you can develop a more intense love than ever. Focusing your mind on the true self and its wonderful possibilities helps you develop concentration and a better self-esteem. By doing this systematically, you develop a lot of power, because systematization implies concentration. When you go to the field, inhale fresh air, study the vegetation and trees, you are concentrating. Arriving at your workplace at a specific time each morning develops the stability of habit, and you become systematic. If one day you arrive early and the next day late, you are not developing concentration. However, every time you fix your mind on a specific thought and maintain your attention on it at successive intervals, you are developing concentration. Keeping your mind focused on a selected object is like centralizing the lens of a camera on a specific landscape. Therefore, it is crucial to pay attention to what you are doing, no matter what it is. Watch your actions and thoughts carefully, because without this control, your progress will be very slow. Practice long, deep breaths, not only to improve your health, which is already important, but also to develop more power, love, and life. Every effort contributes to development. It may seem trivial to try to develop concentration through muscle exercises, but one must not forget the connection between the mind, muscles, and nerves. By stabilizing your nerves and muscles, you also stabilize your mind. If your nerves are disordered, your mind will become erratic and lack the power of direction, which is concentration. This is why exercises that strengthen the nerves and muscles are essential for developing concentration. We are constantly receiving impulses that must be directed and controlled to lead a successful life. For this reason, it is crucial to control the movements of your eyes, feet, fingers, and so on. The control of your breathing is also crucial. Slow, deep, and prolonged exhalations are highly beneficial. They stabilize circulation, heart activity, muscles, and nerves that influence the mind. If the heart beats irregularly and the breathing is uneven, the mind becomes unstable and unsuitable for concentration. Therefore, controlled breathing is vital for physical health and the ability to concentrate. You must not only train your mind, but also the action of your eyes, ears, and fingers. Each of these organs, to understand it, contains small minds controlled by the master engineer, which is your mind. You will develop much faster if you fully understand this. If you have ever been in the company of remarkable people or read their biographies, you've likely noticed that they often let others speak. Speaking is much easier than listening. There is no better exercise for developing concentration than paying close attention when someone else is speaking. In addition to learning from what they say, you can develop both mental and physical concentration. When you shake hands with someone, Think of your hand as containing hundreds of individual minds, each with its own intelligence. By putting this feeling into your handshake, you demonstrate personality. A careless handshake indicates shyness, lack of strength, and lack of personality power. A weak and feeble handshake shows that the person has little love in their nature, lacks passion, and magnetism. When the handshake is the opposite, the person's nature is also the opposite. A person without love is not magnetic, which is demonstrated by their non-magnetic handshake. When two developed people shake hands, their grip is never light. An emotion flows through both. When the two currents meet, love awakens the opposite currents of positive and negative nature. Without love, life loses its charm. The hand quickly reveals when love is awakening. This is why you must learn the art of shaking hands and develop your social affections. A person who loves their neighbor reflects love, but a person who hates reflects hate. A person with a bad nature, prone to hate, and evil thoughts and feelings is erratic, extravagant, and unpleasant. When you allow yourself to become irritable, observe how you breathe, and you will learn a valuable lesson. Observe your breathing when you are happy, when you harbor hate, and when you feel love for everyone, and noble emotions overwhelm you. When you are filled with good thoughts, you breathe an abundant amount of oxygen into your lungs, and it fills your soul. Love develops the person both physically, mentally, and socially. Breathe deeply when you are happy, and you will gain life and strength. It will stabilize your mind and develop your power of concentration, making you magnetic and powerful. If you want to gain more from life, you must focus more on love. Without genuine affection for something, you lack feeling, sweetness, and magnetism. Therefore, awaken your loving affections through your will and enter a fuller life. The hand that gives love always becomes magnetized, but it must be firm and controlled. Love can be concentrated in a handshake, and this becomes one of the best ways to influence others. When you feel irritable, use your will to be patient. This act constitutes an excellent exercise in self-control. Slow, deep breathing will help you maintain patience. If you realize that you start to speak quickly, control yourself and speak slowly and clearly. Avoid varying the tone of your voice and focus on the fact that you are determined to maintain your balance, and you will see how your power of concentration improves. When you meet important people, maintain a relaxed attitude. Do this at all times. Observe both them and yourself. Static exercises develop motor faculties and increase concentration power. If you feel irritable, nervous, or weak, stand up with your chest held high, inhale deeply, and you will notice that your irritability will disappear, replaced by a calm tranquility. If you have the habit of associating with nervous and irritable people, consider limiting this interaction until you strengthen your power of concentration. Irritable, angry, upset, dogmatic, and unpleasant people can weaken the resistance powers you possess. Any exercise that improves your control over the ears, fingers, eyes, and feet helps stabilize your mind. When your gaze is firm, your mind is also firm. One of the best ways to analyze a person is to observe their physical movements, as by studying their actions we are studying their mind. Actions are expressions of the mind. As the mind is, so are the actions. If a person is uncomfortable, restless, erratic, and unstable, their actions reflect these characteristics. When their mind is composed, their actions are composed as well. Concentration involves control of both the mind and the body, and you cannot secure control of one without the other. Many people who seem to lack ambition actually have slow minds, although they are stable and seemingly well controlled. This does not necessarily mean they are capable of concentration. These people tend to be lazy, inactive, and slow because they lack energy. They do not lose control because they have little strength to control. They have a calm temperament and therefore rarely get disturbed. Their actions are stable due to their low energy. A physically strong and internally energetic person has their energy, strength, thoughts, and physical movements well under control. If a person lacks both mental and physical energy, they must develop it. If they have energy they cannot direct and maintain focused, they must learn to do so. An individual can be very capable, but unless they wish to control their abilities, these will be of no use to them. There is much talk about the benefits of physical culture, but its true benefit is often overlooked. There is nothing that keeps the faculties working steadily and continuously like static exercises. As mentioned earlier, by learning to control the body, you are also gaining control over the mind. How to get what you want through concentration. An unbeliever might question how you can get something by simply wishing for it. I maintain that through concentration, you can achieve whatever you want. Every desire can be satisfied. However, whether it is fulfilled or not will depend on your ability to concentrate and make that desire a reality. Simply wishing for something will not make it come true. So never limit yourself to just wishing, as we do not live in a fairy tale world. You use as much brain energy on vain thoughts as when you think about something that truly matters. Be cautious with your desires. Create a mental image of what you want and focus your will on it until it materializes. Do not allow yourself to wander aimlessly or without direction. Define what you want to do and put all your effort into achieving it, and you will succeed. Feel that you can achieve anything you commit to. Many people commit to doing things, but internally they feel they will fail when they begin, and often that is exactly what happens. For example, a man goes to a store in search of an item. The employee informs him that they do not have it, but the man, determined to obtain it, asks if they know where he could find it. After receiving an unsatisfactory answer, he consults the manager and finally discovers where he can purchase the item. This is the secret of concentrating on achieving what you desire. Remember, your soul is the center of all power, and you can achieve whatever you wish. I will find a way or create one is the spirit that drives success. I know a person who is now the leader of a large bank. He started as a messenger. His father made a button with a P on it and pinned it to his coat. He told him, "This P is a reminder that one day you will be the person in charge of your bank. I want you to keep this thought in mind every day." Every evening after dinner, he would ask, "What have you done today?" In this way, the thought was always present. He focused on becoming the leader of that bank, and he achieved it. His father had told him never to reveal to anyone what the P meant. He was ridiculed by his associates, who tried to figure out its meaning, but they never did until he became president. And then he revealed the secret. Do not waste your mental powers on mere wishes. Do not dissipate your energies trying to satisfy every whim. Focus on doing something that truly matters. The person who focuses on something does not fail. Power belongs to the one who exerts power. Emerson says that current success largely depends on concentrating on the internal law of force, because by doing so, you awaken those powers or forces of thought that, when applied to business, ensure lasting results. Until you can do this, you have not reached your limit in using your forces. This vast universe is interconnected by countless forces. You create your own place, and whether it is important or not depends on you. Through the indestructible and unconquerable law, in time you can achieve all the right things. So do not fear undertaking what you truly want to achieve, and be willing to strive for anything that is right. It will inevitably happen. If something is right, it is your duty to do it. Even if everyone thinks it is wrong, God and one are always the majority, or in simpler words, that omnipotent inner law, which is God, and the organism that represents you are capable of conquering the whole world if your cause is absolutely just. Do not say you wish to be a great person. You can do anything that is appropriate and that you wish to do. Just say, "I can, I will, I must." Realize this and the rest will be easy. You have the latent faculties and forces to overcome anything that tries to interfere with your plans. Let the problems and responsibilities of life come thick and fast. I am prepared for them. My soul is invincible. I represent the infinite law of force or all power. This God within me is my strength, sufficient and always present in times of trouble. The greater the difficulties, the greater my triumphs through me. The harder my tests, the faster I develop my inherent strength. Let everything fail around me. This inner strength is enough. The right must prevail. I draw wisdom and power to know and follow the right. My higher self is all-wise. I am now closer to it. Concentration, the silent force that produces good results, is crucial. First, you must recognize how powerful thought is. A thought of fear has caused a person's hair to turn gray in a single night. Consider the case of a prisoner condemned to death, who was offered freedom in exchange for his participation in an experiment to see how much blood a person could lose and still live. The cut on his leg was minimal, and he barely lost any blood, but in a darkened room, the prisoner believed the sound he heard was his own blood dripping. The next day, he died due to the fear generated by his mind. These examples illustrate the power of thought. Fully realizing this power is of great value. Through the power of concentrated thought, you can achieve whatever you desire. Thought allows you to significantly increase your efficiency and strength. You are surrounded by all kinds of thoughts, some good and some bad, and you are bound to absorb some of the latter if you do not develop a positive mental attitude. By studying unnecessary states of anxiety, worry, discouragement, and others, which are the result of uncontrolled thoughts, you will understand the importance of controlling your thoughts. Your thoughts shape who you are. When I walk down the street and observe the faces of people, I can guess how they have lived their lives. Everything is reflected in their faces, just as a mirror shows their physical faces. By looking at those faces, I cannot help but think of how most of the people I see have wasted their lives. Understanding the power of thought will awaken in you possibilities you never imagined. Always remember that your thoughts are shaping your environment and your friendships, and they will change as your thoughts change. This is an important practical lesson to learn. Positive thoughts are constructive, while negative ones are destructive. The desire to do what is right carries great power. It is essential to realize the importance of your thoughts and how to make them valuable, understanding that they come to you through invisible channels. If your thoughts are elevated, you will connect with people of similar mental caliber and be able to help yourself. If they are complicated, you will attract complicated people who will try to deceive you. If your thoughts are honest and upright, you will inspire trust in those with whom you deal. As you gain the goodwill of others, your confidence and strength will increase. Soon, you will discover the wonderful value of your thoughts and how serene you can be, even in the most difficult circumstances. Thoughts focused on good and on doing good will align you with people who matter in the world and can help you when you need it, as almost everyone does at some point. Now you can see why it is so important to focus your thoughts on the right channels. It is essential that people trust you. When two people meet, they do not have time to analyze each other deeply. They accept each other based on an instinct that is generally reliable. When you meet someone and their attitude raises suspicions in you, you may not be able to explain why. But something inside warns you to avoid dealing with that person because you will regret it if you do. Thoughts lead to actions, so be careful with what you think. Your life will be shaped by your thoughts. A spiritual power is always available to your thoughts. And when you are worthy, you can attract all good things without much effort on your part. The sun's rays illuminate our gardens, but we can plant trees that block that light. There are invisible forces ready to help you if you think and act in ways that intercept them. These forces operate in silence, and you reap what you sow within yourself. If you focus on powers that, if channeled, will bring you a happiness greater than you can imagine. Many people go through life running away from what they are literally seeking. Through concentration, you can revolutionize your life and achieve infinitely more without much effort. Look within, and you will discover the best machine ever created. To speak wisely, it is necessary to ensure at least a partial concentration of your faculties and forces on the subject at hand. The act of speaking interferes with the mind's ability to focus, as it redirects attention to external aspects, and thus cannot be compared to the deep silence of the subconscious mind, where profound thoughts and powerful silent forces are gestated. It is essential to be in silence before you can speak with wisdom. The person who is truly alert, well-balanced, and able to speak wisely in difficult situations is the one who has practiced in silence. Most people do not understand what silence means and think that it is easy to achieve, but this is not the case. In true silence, we connect with that inner law, and the forces calm down because they are in a state of high potential beyond the vibrating sounds our external ears are tuned to. Those who desire to be above the ordinary must open themselves to the inner channels that lead to the absolute law of the omnipotent. You can only do this by persistently and intelligently practicing the concentration of thoughts. Keep the idea in silence. I will allow my higher self to have full control. I will be faithful to my higher self. I will live true to my conception of what is right. I realize that it is in my own interest to live up to my full potential. I demand wisdom to act wisely for myself and for others. In the next chapter, I will talk about the mysterious law that unites all of humanity through the powers of cooperative thought, and how this law chooses for us our companions and friends. How concentrated thought unites all humanity is in your power to fulfill all your desires. Success is the result of how you think. I will show you how to think for success. The power to attract and govern success resides in you. The barriers preventing you from reaching it are under your control. You possess unlimited power to think, and this is the link that connects you to your omniscient source. Success is the result of certain mindsets or ways of thinking, which you can control and produce at will. You have evolved into what you are now from a humble beginning, because you possessed the power of thought. This power will never abandon you, but will drive you until you reach perfection. As you evolve, you create new desires, and these can be fulfilled. The power to govern is within you, as well as the barriers that prevent you from exercising that power. These barriers are ignorance. Concentrated thought will achieve results that seem impossible and will allow you to realize your deepest ambitions. As the barriers of limitation break down, new ambitions will arise, and you will begin to experience conscious thought constructions. If you understand that through deep concentration, you connect with thoughts of omnipotence, you will completely eliminate your belief in your limitations, and at the same time, it will dissipate all fear and other negative and destructive thought forces that constantly work against you. Instead, you will build a strong assurance that all your endeavors will be successful. So, by learning to concentrate and strengthen your thought in this way, you control your mental creations. These, in turn, help shape your physical environment, and you become the master of circumstances and the ruler of your own kingdom. It is as easy to surround your life with what you desire as with what you do not desire. This choice will be determined by your will. There are no walls preventing you from obtaining what you want, as long as what you desire is right. If you choose something wrong, you will be in opposition to the omnipotent plans of the universe and deserve to fail. But if you base your desires on justice and goodwill, you will benefit from the helpful powers of the universal currents, rather than face disadvantages. You can trust in eventual success, even if external appearances are not promising at first. Never focus on temporary appearances, but maintain an unwavering belief in your ultimate success. Make your plans carefully and ensure they are not against the currents of universal justice. The main thing to remember is to keep the destructive and opposing forces of fear, anger, and their satellites at bay. There is no power greater than belief arising from the knowledge that your thoughts are in harmony with the divine laws of thought, and the sincere conviction that your cause is just. It is possible that temporarily you may achieve results if your cause is unjust, but these results will be temporary, and in time you will have to tear down your house of thought and rebuild it on the true foundation of good. Plans that are not based on truth produce discordant vibrations and therefore are self-destructive. Never try to build until you can do it right. It is a waste of time to do it any other way. You may temporarily stray from your desire to do what is right, but its true vibrations will interfere with your unjust plans until they force you to return to the straight paths of power. All just causes succeed in time, even though they may seem to fail temporarily. So if you face a time when everything seems to be against you, calm your fears, push away all destructive thoughts, and defend the dignity of your moral and spiritual life. Where there is a will, there is a way. The reason for this is that the will can make a way if given the opportunity to secure the assistance of helping forces. The more it develops, the more effective it will be as your guide. When everything seems bleak and discouraging, that is the time to show your true character by staying calm, serene, and radiant as if you were already enjoying prosperity. Be faithful in sowing the seeds of success with the perfect confidence that the sun will not fail to shine and bring a generous harvest in its season. It is not always necessary to think about the success of a project when you are truly immersed in it. When the body is inactive, the mind is freer to catch new ideas that will promote the opportunity you seek. When you are truly committed to doing something, you are within the channels you have previously built, and the work does not need to be done again. When you are in a negative state of mind, intuitions are more active because at those moments, you are not controlling your thoughts by will. Everything we do must have the approval of intuition. When you are in a negative state of mind, you attract thoughts of a similar nature through the law of affinity. That is why it is so important to form thoughts of a successful nature in order to attract others like them. If you have never studied this subject, you may think it is nonsense. But it is a fact that there are currents of thought that infallibly attract similar thoughts. Many people who constantly think of failure actually attract failure through their worries, anxieties, and overactivity. These thoughts are destined for failure. Once you learn the laws of thought and focus solely on the good, the truth, and success, you will progress with less effort than you had employed before. There are forces that can help the mind, of which the average person has little idea. When you learn to believe more in the value of thought and its laws, you will be guided correctly, and the profits in your business will multiply. The following method may help gain better control of your thoughts. If you cannot control your fears, tell your wavering determination, "Do not hesitate or be afraid, because I am not truly alone. I am surrounded by invisible forces that will help me overcome unfavorable appearances." Soon you will have more courage. The only difference between the brave and the fearful person lies in their will and their hope. Therefore, if you lack success, believe in it, hope for it. The powers of the mind can change your moods just as you desire, instead of being affected by circumstances. Recently, I was asked if I advise concentrating on what one eats or on what one sees while walking. My answer was that it does not matter what you are doing when you are truly focused on nothing but the act in that moment. The idea is to be able to control your trivial acts. Otherwise, you will establish a habit that will be hard to overcome because your faculties have not been accustomed to concentration. Your faculties cannot be disorganized one minute and organized the next. If you allow your mind to wander while doing small tasks, it is likely you will make mistakes, making it difficult to concentrate on the important task when it comes. The person capable of concentration is the happy and busy person. Time does not seem long for them. They always have much to do. They do not have time to think about past mistakes, which would make them unhappy. If, despite our discouragement and failures, we claim our great inheritance of life, truth, and strength like an electric current, it will permeate our lives until we enter our birthright in eternity. Willpower does not act with clarity, decision, and promptness unless it is trained to do so. There are comparatively few people who truly know what they are doing every minute of the day. This is because they do not observe with enough order and precision to know what they are doing. It is not difficult to know what you are doing all the time if you only practice concentration with calm deliberation and train yourself to think clearly, quickly, and decisively. If you allow yourself to worry or rush in what you are doing, this will not be clearly registered in the subjective mind like a sensitized plate, and therefore you will not be truly conscious of your actions. Therefore, practice precision and concentration of thought as well as absolute truthfulness, and soon you will be able to concentrate effectively. Training the will to act is the greatest force in the world regarding human achievement, and no one can predict its limits in advance. The things we do now would have been considered impossible some eras ago. Nowadays, the surest maxim is, all things are possible. The will to act is a strictly practical force. Although it is difficult to explain exactly what it is, it can be compared to electricity because we only know it through its cause and effect. It is a power that we can direct, and how we direct it determines our future. Every time you perform any act, whether definitive, conscious, or unconscious, you are employing the principle of will. You can perform any action, whether good or bad, and therefore how you use your will makes a significant difference in your life. Every person possesses some will to act. It is the internal energy that controls all conscious acts. What you decide to do directs the forces of your life. All habits, whether good or bad, are the result of what you decide to do. You either improve or diminish your condition in life based on what you decide to do. Your will is connected with all paths of knowledge, all activities, and all achievements. You may know cases where people have shown marvelous strength under certain emotions, like in the following example. The wife of a farmer's house caught fire. No one was there to help her. She was a woman of fragile constitution and was normally considered weak. On this occasion, she carried objects out of the house that later required 3 men to move. It was her will to act that enabled her to accomplish this task. Genius is nothing more than the will to do small things with infinite effort. Small things well done open the door to greater opportunities. Willpower achieves its greatest results through activities born of great concentration on acquiring the power of voluntary attention. When this power is developed to the point where we can direct it at will and maintain it on task until we reach our goal, it becomes a powerful force. Almost everything can be achieved through its proper use. Willpower is more powerful than physical strength because it can control not only physical forces, but also mental and moral ones. There are very few people who possess a perfectly developed and balanced willpower, but those who do easily overcome their weaknesses. Study carefully, identify your greatest weakness, and then use your willpower to overcome it. This way, you can eradicate your defects one by one until you have built a strong character and personality. As for the rules of improvement, when a desire arises, think if it would be beneficial for you. If not, use your willpower to eliminate the desire. But if it is a just desire, summon all your willpower to help you overcome all obstacles that stand in your way and secure the possession of the good you seek. Slowness in decision-making is a weakness of willpower. You know you should do something, but you delay it due to lack of decision. It is easier not to do something than to do it, even though your conscience tells you to. The great majority of people do not achieve success because of a lack of decision when action is necessary. Those who succeed have been quick to seize opportunities by making quick decisions. This power of will can be used to achieve culture, wealth, and health. Some specific advice. During the next week, try to make quicker decisions in your everyday affairs. Set the time you want to get up and do so exactly at that moment. Anything you need to accomplish, do it before the set time. Of course, you want to give due consideration to important matters, but by making quick decisions on small things, you will acquire the ability to make quick decisions on larger matters. Do not procrastinate. Decide quickly one way or another, even at the risk of deciding wrongly. Practice this for 1 or 2 weeks and see how it improves your decision-making ability. Lack of initiative also prevents many people from succeeding. They have fallen into the habit of imitating others in everything they do. We often hear the expression, "He seems smart enough, but lacks initiative." For them, life is a continuous routine. Day after day, they go through the same monotonous round of tasks, while those who progress use their initiative to achieve a greater fullness in life. There is nothing more responsible for poverty than this lack of initiative. This power to think and act for oneself. You are as capable as anyone else. You possess willpower, and if you use it, you will get your share of life's luxuries. So use it to claim what is yours. Do not depend on anyone else to help you. Each of us must fight our own battles. Everyone likes a fighter, while the coward is despised by all. The problems of each person are different, so I can only advise you to analyze your opportunities and conditions, study your natural abilities, formulate improvement plans, and then put them into action. Don't just say, "I will do this and that," but take your plan into practice. Don't make a plan, but a concrete one, and don't give up until you've achieved your goal. Apply these suggestions seriously, and you will soon notice amazing results, and your entire life will change radically. An excellent motto for someone with pure motivations is, "Through my willpower, I dare to do what I wish." You will find that this statement has a very strengthening effect. The spirit of perseverance is crucial. The spirit of persistence is the one that triumphs. Many advance to a certain point and then give up, while if they had persevered a little longer, they would have succeeded. Many have plenty of initiative, but instead of concentrating it in one channel, they scatter it in several, diluting it before it begins. Before starting anything, you must look ahead and see where the end leads. You must choose a path that will take you somewhere, not nowhere. The journey must be productive and yield substantial results. The problem with many young people is that they start projects without a clear goal. What really matters is not so much the beginning, but the end of the journey. Every small action should bring you closer to the goal you plan to achieve before starting the venture. The lack of perseverance is nothing more than the lack of the will to act. It takes the same energy to say, "I will continue," as to say, "I give up." The moment you say the latter, you switch off your dynamo of determination. Every time you let your determination weaken, you are diminishing it. Do not forget this. The moment you feel your determination begin to falter, focus on it, and by sheer will, make it continue working. Never attempt to make a decision when you are not in a calm mental state. If you're in a state of anger, it is likely that you will say things you will later regret. In anger, you follow impulse rather than reason. No one can expect to achieve success if they make decisions without having full control of their mental faculties. Therefore, make it a fixed rule to make decisions only when you are in your best mental state. If you tend to get angry easily, you can quickly gain control over your temper using the simple technique of counting backward. Counting backward requires concentration and therefore allows you to quickly regain a state of calm, thus breaking the cycle of impulsive temper. It will be helpful to reflect on what you said and thought the last time you got angry. Persevere until you can see yourself as others see you. It wouldn't hurt to write the scene as a narrative and then judge the character who played your role. The will to act is a form of mental energy that requires the right mental attitude to manifest. We often hear about people with wonderful willpower, but in reality, what happens is that these people actively use their willpower, while in many of us, this force remains latent. I want you to understand that no one has a monopoly on willpower. There is enough for everyone. What we call willpower is nothing more than the concentration of mental energy at any given moment. Never think that someone has a stronger will than yours. Each person is provided with the amount of willpower they need. You don't need to develop more willpower if you constantly use everything you have. And remember, the way you use it determines your destiny, as your life is largely shaped by how you use your will. Without proper use of it, you will lack independence and firmness. You will be unable to control yourself and will become a mere tool for others to use. Learning to use your will is more important than developing your intellect. The person who has not learned to use their will rarely makes decisions on their own. Instead, they allow their resolutions to be influenced by others. They fluctuate between opinions and, of course, achieve nothing exceptional, while their counterpart, with a trained will, is among the leaders of the world. Mental demand is a powerful force in achieving goals. The attitude of the mind affects the facial expression, determines action, changes our physical condition, and regulates our lives. I will not attempt to explain the silent force that achieves results. What you are seeking is to develop your mental powers to materialize what you desire, and that is precisely what I want to teach you. There is a marvelous power and possibility in concentrated mental demand. This, like all other forces, is governed by laws and can be increased extraordinarily through constant and systematic effort. Mental demand must be guided by all the powers of the mind, and all possible elements must be used to make the demand materialize. You can desire something so intensely that you exclude all distracting thoughts. By practicing this singularity of concentration until you achieve your desired goal, you will have developed a will capable of achieving what you want. As long as you perform only ordinary actions, you will remain within the realm of mediocrity. To distinguish yourself, even by surpassing others by a small measure, you will be recognized as one of life's achievers. If you aspire to fame, you must achieve more than the average person. This is possible if you concentrate on your desires and give your best. It is not always the runner with the longest legs or the strongest muscles who wins the race, but the one who demonstrates the greatest strength of desire. Think of an engine that starts slowly and gradually reaches maximum speed. Similarly, two runners start together and gradually increase their desire to go faster. The one with the greatest intensity of desire will win, even by a minimal margin, but will gain the laurels. Individuals seen as successful in the world have not always been the physically strongest, nor appeared to adapt well to their surroundings at first. They were not considered superior geniuses, but they achieved their success due to their firm resolution to achieve results in their endeavors, without allowing any setbacks to discourage them. Nothing could make them lose their determination. They always kept their goal in sight. In all of us there exists this silent force of marvelous power. If developed, it can overcome seemingly insurmountable conditions. It constantly drives us to achieve greater successes. The more familiar we become with it, the better strategists we become. We develop more courage, and our desire for self-expression in different activities increases. No one will be a failure if they become aware of this silent force within them that controls their destiny. However, without the recognition of this internal force, you will not have a clear vision, and external conditions will not yield to the power of your mind. It is mental determination that makes achievement possible. Once it is formed, you must never allow it to stop pressing its claim until the goal is achieved. For plans to work, sometimes it will be necessary to use all the power of your mind. Patience, perseverance, and all the indomitable forces within you must be activated, and used as effectively as possible. Determination is the first element of success. To persevere, you must be consistent in your efforts. This requires concentrating your thoughts on your project and dedicating all your energy to keeping them focused on it until you have achieved your goal. Stopping means weakening all future efforts. Mental demand may seem like an unreal power because it is intangible, but it is the strongest power in the world. It is a power that you can use for free. No one can use it for you. Mental demand is not an illusion. It is a powerful force that you can use freely at no cost. When you have doubts, it will guide you. When you are indecisive, it will give you courage. When you are afraid, it is the driving force that supplies the necessary energy to achieve the purpose. You have a great reservoir of possibilities. Mental demand turns these possibilities into reality. It provides everything necessary for achievement, selects the tools, and shows you how to use them. It helps you understand the situation. Every time you make a mental demand, you strengthen the brain centers, attracting external forces. Few people realize the power of a mental demand. It is likely that your demand is so strong that you can transmit what you want to say to another person without speaking to them. Has it ever happened to you, after planning to discuss a topic with a friend, that they bring it up before you have a chance to speak? Have you ever written a letter to a friend suggesting something they have already done before receiving your letter? Have you ever wished to talk to someone who just happens to appear or call? Many have experienced these responses to thought, and surely you and your friends have also experienced them. These events are not coincidences or accidents. They are the result of mental demand driven by strong concentration. The person who never desires anything becomes insignificant. Making a resolute demand is the first step to achieving what you want. The power of mental demand seems absolute, and the supply unlimited. Mental demand projects itself and materializes the conditions and opportunities necessary to achieve the purpose. Do not consider this an exaggeration. The value of mental demand brings a fuller life if used only for just purposes. However, once the mental demand is made, never let it fail. If you do, the current that connects you to your desire will be interrupted. Dedicate all the time necessary to build a firm foundation, so that not even an element of doubt remains. The moment you harbor doubt, you lose part of the strength of the demand, and once it's lost, it is difficult to recover. So, every time you make a mental demand, remain firm until your need is satisfied. I want to reiterate that the power of mental demand is not a fantasy. It is simply concentrated energy that you can use. It is not a supernatural power, but it requires the development of brain centers. The result is certain when done with firm and determined resolve. No person will advance significantly until they recognize this force within themselves. If you have not realized this, it is likely that you have not had much success in your life. This is what sets one person apart from others. It is this subtle power that develops a strong personality. If you desire a lot, you must demand a lot. Once you make your demand, expect its fulfillment. It depends on us. We are rewarded according to our efforts. The power of mental demand can bring us what we desire. We become what we decide to be. We control our own destiny. Adopt the right mental attitude, and according to your ability, you can succeed. Even an average person, a common individual, can be truly successful, independent, free from worries, and their own leader, if they manage to do just two things. First, it is essential that you remain permanently dissatisfied with what you are doing and with what you have achieved. This constant dissatisfaction is the driving force behind the pursuit of improvements and new accomplishments. Second, develop the belief in your mind that the word impossible has no place in your vocabulary. Build in your mind the confidence that allows your brain to fully utilize its power. Many people, especially older ones, wonder how they can develop self-confidence. How can they, after months or years of discouragement and stagnation, suddenly conceive and carry out a plan that makes their life worthwhile and changes the monotony of their daily routine? How can a person get out of a rut after having been in it for years, accustomed to a slow pace that seems to lead to the grave? They wonder. The answer is that it is possible, and millions of people have already done it. One of the most respected names among the great men of France is Littre, who wrote and compiled the great French dictionary, a monument of erudition. He was the one who took the place among the 40 immortals of France. which was later taken by the great pastor when he was chosen for the academy. The remarkable thing is that Littre began the work that made him famous when he was over 60 years old. Concentration brings mental balance. You will discover that the person who concentrates is well balanced, while the one who lets their mind wander gets easily disturbed. When a person is in this state, wisdom does not flow from the subconscious storehouse to consciousness. There must be mental silence before both consciousnesses can work in harmony. When you are able to concentrate, you have inner peace. If you have the habit of losing your emotional balance, cultivate the habit of reading literature that has a calming power. Just when you feel your serenity fading, say, "Peace," and then hold this thought in your mind, and you will never lose self-control. There can be no perfect concentration without tranquility, so continue thinking in peace, acting in peace, until you are at peace with everyone. Reaching this state will make it easier for you to concentrate on anything you desire. When you have tranquility, you are not shy, anxious, fearful, or rigid, and you do not allow any disturbing thought to influence you. You put aside all fears and consider yourself a spark of the divine being, a manifestation of the universal principle that fills all space and time. Think of yourself as a child of the infinite, possessing infinite possibilities. Write down on paper, "I have the power to do and be whatever I wish to do and be." Keep this in your mind, and you will discover that this thought will be of great help. It is a mistake to carry concentration in your business home with you. To succeed, it is crucial to concentrate, but you should not become a slave to concentration and bring it into your personal life. If you do, you will be draining your vital forces excessively, which can lead to premature burnout. Many people get so involved in their business that even when they attend church, they do not listen to the preacher because their minds are on their business. If they go to the theater, they do not enjoy the show because their business occupies their minds. When they go to bed instead of sleeping, they think about their business and then wonder why they cannot sleep. This kind of concentration is wrong and dangerous because it is involuntary. Not being able to get something out of your mind is unhealthy, as any thought held continuously leads to fatigue. It is a great mistake to allow a thought to dominate you, rather than you dominating it. Those who do not govern themselves cannot be considered successful. If you cannot control your concentration, your health will suffer. Never become so absorbed in something that you cannot set it aside and focus on something else. That is self-control. Concentration is paying attention to a chosen thought. Everything you see leaves an impression in the subconscious mind, but unless you pay attention to something in particular, you will not remember what you saw. For example, if you walk down a busy street without seeing anything that catches your attention, you will not remember anything you saw. So you only see what captures your attention. When you are working, you only see and remember what you think. When you concentrate on something, it absorbs all your thoughts. Self-study is a valuable tool. We all have habits that we can overcome through concentration. For example, if you have the habit of complaining, finding faults in yourself or others, thinking you do not possess the abilities of others, feeling inferior to others, doubting yourself or harboring thoughts of weakness, it is essential to discard them and replace them with thoughts of strength. Every time you think of yourself as a weak person, you are somehow weakening yourself with that thought. Our mental conditions define who we are. Watch how much time you waste on worries, fears, and complaints. The more you do it, the worse you will feel. The moment you realize you are thinking negatively, immediately switch to a positive thought. If you start thinking about failure, change your thoughts to success. You have the seed of success within you. Take care of it as a hen takes care of her eggs, and you will make those thoughts materialize. You can influence the people you interact with through the vibrations you emit, as you radiate what you feel, and others can perceive it. When you focus on something specific, you channel all your vibrations towards that goal. Thought is the power that directs all the vibrations of life. If someone enters a room feeling insignificant, they will probably go unnoticed. However, if they enter feeling magnetic and focusing on this thought, others will feel their presence and vibration. Thus, how you feel can influence how others feel. Studying great historical figures reveals that they were full of enthusiasm. First, they inspired themselves, and then they inspired others. Enthusiasm, once awakened, is a powerful force. All successful public figures must possess it, and it can be cultivated through concentration. Dedicate time each day to a passionate conversation with your soul. Meditate with desire and sincerity, and you will achieve what you set out to do. This is the key to success. Think, speak, and act as you wish to be, and you will become what you wish. Keep the central message in mind. You can influence others through your own vibrations, and enthusiasm and concentration are essential for success. You are exactly what you believe yourself to be, and not what you pretend to be. You can deceive others, but never yourself. You have control over your life and actions, just as you control your hands. If you wish to raise your hand, you first think of doing it. In the same way, if you want to control your life, you must control your thoughts. It's easy, yes, if you truly want it, but you must concentrate on what you think. The only one who can say, "I will do it," is you. How do we achieve effective concentration? The fundamental answer is interest and a solid reason. The stronger the reason, the more intense the concentration. Successful lives are lives of concentration. The helpless crowd, who sooner or later depend on charity, are those who could never concentrate, becoming victims of negative thoughts. To centralize your thinking, develop your brain capacity, and increase your mental energy, or else you may end up being a wanderer, a deserter, or a dreamer. It all depends on how you focus and centralize your thoughts. Your thought transforms into a stable force, and you don't waste time thinking about things that won't benefit you. You choose thoughts that will lead you to what you desire, and these materialize into reality. What we believe in the world of thought eventually materializes. That is the law. Don't forget this. In the past, people lived adrift without concentration. But this is an era of efficiency, and therefore all our efforts must be concentrated if we want to achieve any significant success. Often people lack concentration because they immerse themselves in despair and passively wait for inspiration to come to them. However, if they exert themselves to the maximum, they will discover that it is within their reach. No one limits us more than ourselves. We are what we are today because of our internal conditions, which we can control. External conditions are subject to our will. Through concentration, we can attract what we desire because we have connected with universal forces from which we can obtain what we want. Surely you have observed races where all participants line up with the same goal, to reach the finish line before the others. This is an example of concentration. Someone may begin thinking about a specific topic, and although various thoughts may arise through concentration, they focus exclusively on the chosen one. Concentration is simply being willing to do something specific and doing it. To achieve something, you must first reach a concentrated, calm, and receptive state of mind. When facing unknown tasks, proceed with calmness and deliberation to ensure that internal activity, which is never possible under haste or tension, takes place. When you try to think forcefully or rush too much, the results generally obstruct the flow of thoughts and ideas. Often, when you struggle to think of something and cannot, the idea emerges as soon as you stop concentrating on it. Concentration can overcome bad habits. Habits play a crucial role in our lives, much greater than we often admit. They are both a powerful enemy and a wonderful ally of concentration. It is essential to learn how to overcome habits that harm our ability to concentrate and nurture those that improve it. Many people are controlled by their habits, driven by them like a piece of wood dragged by the sea waves. They act in a certain way, driven by habit, without reflecting on why they do it or if there is a better way to do it. My intention in this chapter is to encourage concentration in your habits so that you can identify which ones are beneficial and which ones are not. You will see that by making some necessary changes, you can even turn those habits that are not good for you into something useful, and you can strengthen good habits even more. The first thing you must understand is that all habits are, in some way, controlled by will, whether consciously or unconsciously. Often, if you repeat something in the same way several times, you will develop a habit. The more often you repeat it, the stronger that habit becomes, and the more ingrained it is in your nature. Once a habit has been established for a long time, it almost becomes part of you, and therefore it is difficult to overcome. However, you can break any habit by concentrating intensely on its opposite. Our life, as long as it has a defined form, is nothing more than a set of practical, emotional, and intellectual habits, systematically organized for our well-being or our misery, and they lead us ineluctably to our destiny, whatever that may be. We are beings of habits, prone to imitate and replicate our past. Just as we can fold a sheet of paper and each fold leaves a mark that facilitates folding it in the same place next time. So do our habits of thought, will, intelligence, and willpower. Although spiritual functions are immersed in matter, each of their movements corresponds to a movement in the brain, a material correlate. Hence, habits can form in both thought and will, as all physical impressions are the realization of the actions of both. As we age, many of us become more and more like automatic machines. The habits we have formed grow stronger, and we act in accordance with our characteristic way of behaving. Our peers come to expect us to act in a certain way. Thus, our habits play a crucial role in our lives, and since it is just as easy to form good habits as it is to form bad ones, we should strive to form the former. Each of us is responsible for our own habits. If everyone understood the importance of developing proper habits, we would live in a very different world, much happier and more successful for all. Habits are formed more quickly during our youth, but if we have already passed that stage of youthful plasticity, the best time to start controlling our habits is now, as we will never be younger than we are at this moment. Here are two valuable maxims to remember in relation to habits. We must make our nervous system our ally, not our enemy. This means working in harmony with our natural tendencies and reactions, guiding them instead of fighting against them. When acquiring a new habit or discarding an old one, we must engage with as much initiative and determination as possible. The formation or elimination of a habit requires a liberated and focused effort. A half-hearted approach is usually not enough to overcome deep-rooted tendencies. The individual who has cultivated the habit of doing what is right since childhood is driven by noble motives. Therefore, it is crucial to concentrate on developing habits that reinforce these good motives, surrounding yourself with all possible aids and avoiding temptations that could lead to bad habits. It is essential to consider each day as an opportunity for a new beginning and to reaffirm the habits that lead you toward your goals and values. Analyze why you have been doing certain things and if they are not beneficial to you. Strive to avoid them from now on. Do not give in to temptations, as each time you do, you strengthen the chains of bad habits. On the other hand, every time you maintain a resolution, you break those chains that limit you. Third maxim, never allow an exception to occur until the new habit is firmly rooted in your life. The idea is to be consistent and not give in until the new habit is fully established. If you give in, you undo what has been achieved with previous efforts. There are two opposing forces, the will to be firm and the temptation to give in. Through willpower and repetition, you can strengthen yourself to resist any temptation. Fourth maxim, seize the first possible opportunity to act on every resolution you make and on every emotional impulse you experience in the direction of the habits you wish to acquire. Making a resolution and not fulfilling it has little value. Therefore, ensure that you keep every resolution you make. This not only benefits you, but it also provides an exercise for your brain cells and their physiological correlates to form the habit of fulfilling resolutions. A tendency to act becomes ingrained in us in proportion to the frequency with which the actions actually occur, and the brain is molded for its use. Letting a determination or a burst of feeling evaporate without bearing fruit is even worse than losing unity. Keeping your resolutions forms a very valuable habit. If you break them, you develop one of the most dangerous habits. Therefore, focus on fulfilling them regardless of whether they are important or not. And remember, for this purpose, it is just as crucial to maintain those that seem insignificant, as by doing so, you are forging the habit of consistency. Fifth maxim, keep your ability to exert effort alive by doing some voluntary exercise every day. The more we exercise the will, the better we will be able to control our habits. From time to time, do something just for its difficulty, so that when the time of extreme need comes, you will be prepared and trained to face the challenge. The asceticism of this type is like the insurance you pay for your house and belongings. It may not benefit you at the moment, and perhaps you will never see a direct return, but if disaster strikes, being prepared will save you from ruin. So it is with the person who has strengthened themselves daily with habits of concentrated attention, energetic will, and autonomy in the unnecessary. They will stand firm like a tower when everything around them shakes, while their weaker companions crumble like straw in the wind. It is crucial for young people to focus on their habits and understand that if they don't, they will become mere sets of harmful habits. Youth is a period of malleability, and it must be used to lay the foundation for a promising future. The great value of both positive and negative habits cannot be underestimated. Habit is the deepest law of human nature. No one is stronger than their habits, as they either accumulate strength or weaken it. We are creatures of habit due to their practical and economic nature. Once formed, habits require less effort and material, becoming automatic over time. This economizes our energy, as if it weren't for habits, we would need to be constantly alert. For example, when walking down a busy street, the habit of stopping and observing protects us from accidents. Proper habits prevent us from making mistakes and having incidents. It is well known that a driver does not master their vehicle securely until they have trained their body to react habitually, enabling them to know instantly what to do in an emergency. Habits reduce risk, fatigue, and increase accuracy. Nevertheless, it is crucial not to become a slave to trivial habits. For example, Wagner needed a specific costume to compose parts of his operas. Schiller could only write easily if there were rotten apples on his desk, while Gladstone used different desks for different tasks. To overcome undesirable habits, two key factors are essential: training your willpower to act as desired, and making the decision to do the opposite of the habit. One habit must replace another. With a determined will, you can focus on eliminating a bad habit, and in a short time, the new, positive habit will take its place. Dr. Oppenheim suggests following specific steps to break habits, which I've summarized below. Strengthening the will. Train your willpower to be strong enough to face any challenge or bad habit. Firm resolution and action in the opposite direction. Make a decisive commitment to act in a way opposite to the habit you wish to change. This requires replacing the old habit with a new one. Perseverance and focus. Stay persistent and keep your focus on eliminating the unwanted habit. Consistency is crucial for the new habit to take root. No exceptions. Do not allow any exceptions to your new behavior rule until the new habit is firmly ingrained. Daily willpower. Exercise. Strengthen your ability to take action by engaging in daily exercises that challenge your will and encourage you to overcome undesirable habits. Identifying and analyzing habits. Reflect on your habits to identify which ones are beneficial and which ones need to go. This requires self-awareness and honesty. Supportive environment. Surround yourself with people and an environment that support your efforts to change your habits. This can significantly enhance your process. Personal responsibility. Take full responsibility for your habits, understanding that you have the power to change them. In essence, overcoming habits requires self-awareness, determination, conscious action, and persistence, all supported by a strong, trained will. To eliminate a habit and its negative effects, you must approach it with the same intensity you would confront a physical enemy. Face this challenge with determination, ferocity, and even a sense of passion, like a desire for vengeance. No enemy is more relentless than a destructive habit. It never rests and requires no reprieve. A habit is like a parasite, feeding off the body that sustains it, and just like a parasite, it must be forcefully eliminated. In times of difficulty and adversity, we often fall into negative habits. During these moments, we must make an extraordinary effort to think and speak correctly, even when we feel the opposite. Every small effort in this direction will be backed by a tremendous power, leading us to an achievement we've never experienced before. The greatest progress is not made in moments of ease, as no special effort is needed to maintain harmony in such times. But when trials and misfortunes arise, when we feel we're sinking, it's crucial to recognize that we are connected to a great inner power. If we live in alignment with our true nature, nothing in life can harm us permanently or disrupt our inner peace. Always remember that we have boundless power within us, ready to manifest in exactly the way we need it most at any given moment. In the face of a challenge, if we pause and allow ourselves silence, we can receive the inspiration necessary to know how to act. There is no need for haste or worry. It's always wiser to wait for internal guidance than to act impulsively.